We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, people and germs, welcome to episode 30 of the Drayage Junkies. We got Dirty Dre, we got the trucker guy, got me, the freight hound here. We got a lot to talk about today. Crazy stuff going on in Venezuela. We got the Chinese New Year coming up and much more. So, welcome to the show. Be sure to share it out. Stay tuned. Let's get ready to kick some cans. This is the Drayage Junkies. Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Doing well, sir. And yourself?
Man, no complaints over here. It is a beautiful day. Been a great week. Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Jimmy. Great week. I mean, you're a little early, brother. It's only 2 days in.
Hey, I know. I mean,
that's how you set yourself up for failure right there.
Look, all right.
Start praising a great week on Tuesday.
Hey,
doom and gloom for Friday.
That's right.
Y'all are wrong. Y'all are so
gonna
wrong.
Be a long weekend for the freight hound.
Oh God, how you doing there, Jimmy?
I'm good, brother. I'm alive and kicking, and that is what is most important.
That's right. That's right. Any craziness going on so far?
Nothing crazy, man. You know, watching the boats, sitting on the dock of the bay, brother, just watching the boats. You know how we do. Got a couple boxes moving, but nothing super crazy, which is always nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll kind of play into one of our conversations today, which is the Chinese New Year. But before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and jump into news today. Steve, if you can, pull up that beautiful page there from truckandnewshub.com. Brought to you by Cleves Logistics and UCW and all of our other great friends in the tabs. You got to go through the tabs and find all of our good friends there. But today, what we're going to be talking about is some craziness coming out of Venezuela. So I think we touched on it last week, maybe the week before. But, U.S. invades, or I wouldn't say invade, but, we take out the leader of Venezuela. We got the Navy just posted up. Well, wouldn't you guess it? Russia's just being a little finicky over here. So, Steve, you got that article right there. Yep. So if you go to trucknewshub.com, go to your drayage news marked here in the red. This is the article we're going to be talking about today. So the U.S. seizes Russian flag tanker that broke the blockade of Venezuela. So the U.S. forces have seized Russian flag oil tanker linked to Venezuela in an unprecedented enforcement of Washington's sanctioned regime, officials confirmed. The tanker, flagged as the I can't even pronounce this, the Marinera, we're going to call it that, previously known as Bella 1, was intercepted in the North Atlantic after a weeks-long pursuit as a part of a broader campaign to enforce a blockade on Venezuelan oil exports. The U.S. says that the vessel was violating sanctions by trying to deliver Venezuelan crude and has detained it under a federal warrant. A second Venezuelan-linked tanker was also seized in the Caribbean. Moscow has blasted the action as illegal and piracy, warning it could escalate already tense U.S.-Russian relations, while Washington insists the move is lawful and part of its strategy to curb sanctioned oil shipments. That's the latest on the tanker seizure, and we will continue to follow developments. So the one thing in this whole article that got me is, like they said, it was named Bella 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard about trucks putting new names on the side of their trucks. These cats painted and reflagged the ship while on the ocean. They painted the whole of the ship, the Marinera, whatever we're going to call it the Marinera because I can't pronounce the name. But I mean, how crazy is that?
For lunch, man, you start talking about Marinara.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, how crazy is that to think that these guys were hanging off the side of the ship, painting it just to evade the U.S.? I mean, why are they running? If Russia's saying that this is, such a bad thing on our end, like, why were they running in the first place? I mean, they broke through a blockade of oil vessels, which we discussed before, they are inspecting and, making sure that there's no foul play involved with Venezuela or any of these other countries. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what comes out of this. What do y'all think?
It sounds legit to me, and I just want to know why I didn't get like a LinkedIn post so I could apply for that job so that I could paint the side of the boat while it was in motion, because that sounds like a pretty cool gig. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you see trucks all the time, like people posted on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff where they'll be stripping, like, what was it, that one guy, I think it was like an Amazon truck or whatever that crashed. And while they were still waiting for like the authorities to get there, they're already out there stripping the numbers and the name off the see of the truck, right? So we see it all the time with trucks up and down the road. But imagine being a vessel out at sea, sitting there seeing some guy hanging off the side of the boat, repainting it and getting the sticker kit out and putting a new name on there.
Until all this stuff like really came to light and start slapping us in the face. I used to laugh at when I had trucks. I mean, I had them professionally done up, logoed, labeled, the whole nine. And I used to laugh at guys running around with the cardboard placard and it's wrote on there in Sharpie. You know what I'm saying? Now, the more I see these stories, I'm like, I know what you got to do it for. You're hiding from somebody.
Yep.
So it makes more sense now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which is honestly kind of sad because, like, I don't know, back when I worked for an asset-based company, we had Canadian authority and we had U.S. authority, but our trucks couldn't run intra-U.S. So I was like, well, why don't we just hire on some owner-operators and send them out, magnetic placards for the side of the truck, because, I mean, you got owner-operators, I mean, they can run under, many different authorities, but now, we can't have nice things, like that's why owner-operators can't succeed, if you're stuck in one camp, like, kind of.
So you started this. You started the problem.
I might have. But the joke got taken too far. So
now who knows what's going to come of this? I mean, it'll all settle down eventually. Diplomacy will prevail. Yada yada yada. But right now, it's pretty crazy. I mean, what are they actually doing with this stuff? Is what I want to know. I mean, it's like five vessels seized so far. Are they just anchored up and no one's getting oil? I mean, what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, where do they even put these vessels?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, are they just all kind of hanging out and having a beer, or what's the deal? I mean,
are they pumping
as
it
the
from
worker
one vessel to another vessel? Like, yeah, what are they doing with this?
Yeah, I mean, as the worker on the boat, I mean, obviously, odds are you have nothing to do with it. You're just a maritime guy working the vessel. But it's like, what do you do with all these people? I mean, there's probably 50, 100 people on each one of these vessels, if I had to guess. It's like they just.
I mean, yeah, are they considered prisoners at this point of the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more to come.
It's just guilty by association. But yeah, I am interested to see where this goes because, I mean, Venezuela being such a powerhouse in the oil sector, like, we can't just, keep our grips on it like that. That's not our area.
I drive a diesel, and I can honestly say I'm not feeling it in my pocket. We got all this extra oil, and I ain't feeling it yet.
Hey, if you're running a gas car, man, I freaking filled up my tank for $40 the other day. So,
holy Jesus!
Yeah, not really complaining. I don't agree with it full-heartedly, but also not a politician.
Yeah, there you go.
Like we're the workers on the boat. We're not driving the thing.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, but we'll keep an eye on that for sure because I don't know. I mean, obviously there's more out there that we don't know about, but it'll all come to light. It'll be the diet version. Yeah.
We'll be exactly.
But well, once again, if you guys want to go check out this news article, be sure to go to truckingnewshub.com. Go to your Drayage News, and you will see that article pinned up top, wrapped in red. And old Mark Hamilton said, gas will continue to go up. That would be really bad if we have all this gas and it keeps going up. I don't like that idea.
Well, I mean, if you listen to it, you believe in what you hear. I mean, gas is doing nothing but coming down. I mean, you just filled up for $40. I mean, I would be willing to bet 2 weeks ago it was 50. So,
Yeah. A few years before that, it was like close to 80. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It'll all shake out. We're not politicians. We don't make the rules. We just talk about them once they're out there. So
That's right. That's right.
We put our spin on it.
Yeah, we're just bringing it to light. But well, heck yeah. Well, Steve, what do we got? What do we got next on the docket here, brother?
Real quick, just also wanted to cover. I don't know if you want to pull that on up too, but the why Charleston drayage drivers should care about the Iran protests. So this is and do you have that one pulled up or?
Yeah.
So this is all about the U.S. flag Maersk Denver that operates. It's a Danish carrier, American-based Maersk line. This thing mainly runs and has a lot of influence around Charleston, Savannah, Houston, Norfolk, and Newark. But this is one that's looking to return to the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, a shortcut connecting Asia and Europe. And since 2023, the region has been under siege by the terrorists in there in Yemen, who've attacked merchants shipping containers pretty consistently. So this will be a big deal. This is one that's coming through that they're going to start putting back through there to while the shipping line initially saw billions of dollars in windfall profits diverting these ships away from the Red Sea. It's President Trump's tariffs war and shifting global trade landscape has weakened the import demand on the U.S. and depressed the ocean shipping rates, hurting carriers' profits. The China and Iran have reportedly been supporting the terrorist group with money and weapons, but their aggression has weakened as Iran redirects his resources toward its own domestic issues, which exploded last week as the region's government violently confronted growing protests. So the collapse of the Irani regime could shut off the funding that they're given to this terrorist group and their military supply line, and lead the reopening of the Red Sea to the global shipping. Analysts say that a full return to the Suez Canal would be a mixed scenario, normalizing vessel rotations, but adding 2 million containers worth of capacity back into the weakened market. Falling prices have been aggravated by ongoing fleet expansion by the largest carriers. So this right here would be huge. As if terrorists don't have the funding to, there you go. Terrorists don't have the funding to in the weapons to carry on their terrorist attacks, right? This would be huge to renormalize that region. And like I said, the Maersk Denver for the East Coast, and especially it was kind of it was an article that lightened me a little bit because it's talking about Charleston and the big market that we do business in. So,
well, it's kind of been forgotten. All that came down so long ago. What was that? Early last year, midsummer, when it really started getting bad. And I think people forget that's where all these delays have come from. A majority. This is adding like 2 weeks to an ocean voyage to go around. So it getting opened back up and getting a little more safe for travel is ideal for every port, honestly, and every carrier involved in the system and every broker who's just watching the dots out there on the ocean that can't seem to get here. I mean, that's why. I mean, if you add an average of 14 days to the trip, and then you throw in some weather, now maybe you've added 3 weeks to the trip and delay on top of delay. I mean, so yeah, it will be huge. That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's 6,200 TEUs on that vessel alone right there as well. So
yeah,
we could handle that in a week, couldn't we, Steve? We got that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just call Cleves. Just call Cleves. Just call Red Rocket Logistics, baby. We got that in a week, no problem.
Yeah, call me and I'll refer you to both of them.
No, that's a big deal.
That actually kind of, is a segue into the show today, right? I mean, what's coming up right now, right? What happens in the drayage world this time of the year every year that just causes chaos. It causes carriers to start selling off their furniture and everything to pay their bills because they can't move their trucks. What happens this time? What do they call it, Jimmy? What is it?
If you ask all the crazy people, it's the Chinese New Year. I don't know if I believe it.
The crazy people.
Yeah, the crazy people. No, Chinese New Year, man. It's coming hot and heavy. And if you didn't get your orders in, really, I mean, by a story I saw from someone, not mentioning any names, Trucking News Hub and Steve, that if you didn't get them in by yesterday, you are getting delays.
You may not have them for Q1. Empty shelves if you didn't get them in yesterday, according to what sources told the writers at truckingnewshub.com.
Just some sources. I don't know if they're legitimate, but it happens every year. I mean, you know, you would think by now you'd be prepared, but so many of us aren't prepared. I mean, all it takes is, you know, a little bit of time delay in getting your order in, and next thing you know, you're pushed to quarter two. So
yep. Well, and then quarter two, you know, all of a sudden, all these containers start coming in, right? Because the factories and all that stuff, you know, people don't understand really what it is, right? At the end of the day, it's really the Lunar New Year, which that's what, you know, China and whatnot, actually, you know, they don't go off of the new year that we go off of that happens on January 1st, right? They go off of the actual Lunar New Year, which changes. The date's not always the same every year. But then why they call it the Chinese New Year too is because that's when all the warehouses and stuff like that, factories will shut down and do their maintenance during that time as well. So that's where it really becomes then the Chinese New Year in affecting the shipping war, because during that actual true Lunar New Year, the celebration of the actual holiday, the companies are actually shutting down, doing their yearly maintenance and stuff like that. And some of those vessels and steamship lines that are over in that area are doing it as well. So, and then what you typically have happen is kind of Q2, or, you know, after the Chinese New Year, we get a surplus of volume that bumps in here. We start getting port delays because all these vessels are trying to get in there. So this year, we also have a little extra element they're saying that's going to cause these delays. And that is the hundreds and thousands of CDLs that are being revoked because they're, you know, fake CDLs that were handed out like Cracker Jack boxes to all these people that can't drive. So you have what they're calling, analysts are calling, the shortage in drivers. And on top of this volume that's going to start kicking in as the Chinese New Year is coming over, they have to create chaos, right? It's something they got to do to keep us all on our toes. So, Jimmy, what do we think, right? What do we think that's going to do?
Of course, it's going to tighten up big time. I mean, capacity with trucks is going to go down. It's either you're going to get caught running on your bad license, or you're going to be scared and you're not going to work, which is also going to affect rates, because now people know less trucks, higher premium to get my truck. Port congestion is going to be another one. It's going to have an overall effect across the board, I think, when all this is said and done. And when the FMCSA finally pushes this through and starts really cracking down, they just started. They told Tennessee, like, hey, get your ducks in a row. They just told North Carolina, get your ducks in a row, or we're going to pull funding. So yeah, things are about to change. And I mean, I don't know if it affects smaller guys as badly, because typically you got 1, 2, 3 drivers. It's probably not a major deal. But I think for major companies who push volume, who don't necessarily do the vetting or really care, if you can hold that steering wheel, we can make you a driver. Those are the ones that are going to start getting hit, and you might see some real depletion in these, 2, 3, 400, 500 truck fleets, big time.
Yeah, well, what the fourth largest one, was it SRG? Not SRG. Just declared Chapter 11 or Chapter 7 bankrupt.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening all over. I mean, it's almost daily. You'll see someone went out of business, or someone filed bankruptcy, or someone cut their force in half. I mean, it's happening constantly. So it's gonna throw some wrenches in a lot of works, and not just the drayage world. I mean, we know it's a dry van, it's going to be reefer, it's going to be everything. But I mean, granted, we deal with dray, so we're more worried about what happens to us. But I mean, I don't have any drivers, so it's personally not affecting me. My carriers, on the other hand, I'm already talking to them like, hey, are you on the up and up with all your guys? Are you double checking? Because when my containers are in, I expect to get my containers moved. And if you're not able to assist, guess what? I find the carrier who can, and maybe I don't come back to you. So I'm hoping they're on the up and up.
Yep. And I'm wondering too, like, I mean, think about last year, how we had such a rise in volume just based off the tariffs. Everybody's front loading. And then we have Q4 where it's like, they call it like the lowest volume that we've had in, almost a decade. But I mean, with less carriers, I mean, this could be a way for, volume just kind of level out a bit, because you can't just load those ports up like that. And, if you're having carriers that, you just can't support that volume, it's just going to create an insane bottleneck that we've never seen before. Because, if you don't have, I mean, you can only get so many people in there, unless Long Beach finally goes 24/7, like nothing's going to change. And there's just going to be a lot of products sitting there. And, you're going to have a lot of people fighting over rates because, well, we know what's going to happen. That capacity crunches, rates are going to go through the roof. Shippers and, purchasers, they ain't going to want to buy that. And it's, once again, that trickle down effects. Everything's going to go up in price again.
Yeah, just like tariffs. I mean, you're going to get that same battle just from the opposite side. Well, now the cost is to get it to where it's going. So it's still got to go somewhere. It's still going to affect the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, for those with the Chinese New Year, just know they start about 1 to 2 weeks before, or factories and businesses, the disruptions start 1 to 2 weeks before, and then even after they're done with the New Year. So, I mean, it's going to go a month and a half, 2 months where we're not seeing anything from China. So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Now it'll start to settle out about probably about mid-March.
Yeah,
when you'll start to see it settle out again.
Well, shit, they're saying the official Chinese New Year this year is February 17th, so it could be early April, just about.
Yeah, I mean, it's normally a month and a half, 2 month process. You figure, I mean, I don't know what ocean time is for the most part. It's got to be roughly 30 to 45 days.
About 30, yeah. On average, I think it's like 30 days. That's assuming great weather.
That's 30 days saying you can go through the canal, or is that the long way around?
Yeah. I guess the average did go up a little bit with the canal. You're right.
Yeah, so it's probably closer to 45 days. So I mean, you're looking at probably 2 months before it settles back down, and that's everything. I mean, what can we do?
Just start selling. This is a great time to have conversations.
There you go.
And you've heard me talk too about, just the shift in the business that we've had from imports to exports. And thankfully I was curious to see what, once the ball dropped and the fireworks all went off and 2026 happened, I was curious to see if that was going to continue, what was going to happen there. And thankfully it hasn't changed yet. So this will be the first true year of the shift in import and exports for us. As a company. So I'm curious to see what that looks like for, for this time frame. Because like I said, I mean, typically, even for us, for the asset side of it, it will slow down. But with the exports still going strong, I'm curious to see if we'll even see that decline like we've seen in past years.
I'm curious as well, because what happens if the shipping line that you guys use for the exports isn't getting their containers back in from China? So what happens if you start running into a container issue?
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. And I think, and I've seen it in past where they might limit, because I think I forgot 100% how it happens. I think, the steamship line probably calls from the port to load X amount of containers on there, and they still leave X amount of them in inventory at the ports to be able to handle that. So I wonder if they just pull back on during that time frame to leave them here. I don't know. I'm assuming that I would assume that they plan a little bit with that, because they know the bookings they have, right? They know the amount of bookings they have in the system. So it'll be interesting. Last January, kind of February, it started picking up a little bit, but nothing like, that kind of kicked off like April and May for us this year or last year. So in the switch really took place.
I'm sure they forecast it some too to try to be as far ahead of it as they can. I'm just curious how that works. Lunar New Year typically affects things coming into us.
Coming in, yeah.
I haven't dealt a whole lot with things going out, so I'm curious for an update from you to see how that how do you feel it or you not feel it?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been excited, and optimistic so far this year. Just the 13 days in, because it really hasn't let off that much. So that was a good surprise to celebrate for the new year. So I know, I always question that whole booking thing if they make sure that they have the right equipment for the bookings, because I mean, we run into issues here a lot of times where, like, now that we're into even the inland Port of Greer, where we'll go up there to pick up empties and they don't have any empties for that particular steamship line. So it's like, you guys not plan like, hey, we got these 10 bookings that are coming in. We got to make sure that we have the containers for them. Do they put them on the rail? And they apparently don't because they run out. And it's the same thing that happens. Like, there'll be a booking that'll come out of like Hugh Leatherman, for example, because we have the 3 ports in Charleston. And there'll be a booking that'll come out of Hugh Leatherman. Well, Hugh Leatherman won't have any, say, empties for MSC. So fortunately, we can switch it to one of the other ports and get them to move the EIR over there to go pick it up from there. So I don't know how the magic wand that they do, one would think that if they have, we'll call it 10 bookings, if they have 10 bookings for 10 export containers coming out, that they would make sure that they had enough of those containers or planned to have enough of those containers there, but it doesn't seem to really happen. So
what do you do if that happens in the inland?
We just had to cancel the booking. Yeah, they just didn't have it. I even asked the question, can I come down here and get it? And they wouldn't even switch the EIR for us to come down to Charleston to get it, even though that's where the final destination of it to go. Because we had trucks here too. So yeah, we had 7 export moves 2 weeks ago that the customer had to roll the booking because it was actually CMA, and CMA did not have any empty containers. Or now we had a driver that sat there pretty much all day waiting for something to come back in, and I think it was originally 8 bookings and or 8 containers, and we ended up getting one of them in because he waited for one to come back. Just happened to get lucky, but yeah, I mean, the customer has to roll the booking and reschedule it. But yeah, I was even gonna, customer wanted these to go before the end of the year, so I was even gonna come down in Charleston and get them and bring them up there. And yeah, they wouldn't change the EIR to come out of Wando to pick up the empty. So it was weird.
The joys and the delays of drayage, I tell you.
It can't be that easy. You gotta make it hard for some.
Never that easy.
What about your wine, Hunter? I mean, do you see anything that happens during the Chinese New Year that affects anything you guys are doing?
I mean, this is usually the slow time. So like the busy seasons in the fall, with like all the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So this time of year, it's almost like they follow the new year, but everybody's doing inventory and audits and yada yada, just kind of prepping for the upcoming season. But not really too much. I mean, if people want their wine, they're going to get it, especially some of the higher end stuff, if it's coming from France or Spain or Portugal, if you're spending upwards of $1,500 on a single bottle of wine, I don't care about this stuff. You're dealing with different kind of money at that level. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really start getting into the imports until like last year, so I haven't got to see like a full scale swing in the season. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to reach out to some of my customers and see what they're seeing on that end. But it's always flowing, so we don't really get hit with the major changes like everybody else.
That's because Americans like their drinky drinks.
Yeah, we do.
They'll find a way to get it somewhere.
That's right. I mean, how do you think moonshine came about? I'm just
Yeah, but I mean, like last year when all the tariffs hit, like a lot of my customers have started shopping in the U.S. You know, pulling stuff from the Northwest California. They're like, it's all the same. I mean, like there's really great wine coming out of California. You know, it's not like the imports are the end all be all. You know, some people do want
What are you saying? Chinese grapes doesn't make a fancy wine?
We don't get shit from China, dude. Maybe the packaging, they could affect the packaging or any of that shit.
You don't get sake or anything?
That's Japan, brother. We do get sake.
You telling me that they don't have rice in China, bro?
If you want to drink that swish, that's all you, brother.
It won't be long. You won't be able to get anything out of California. They're going to tax the billionaires, and they're all up and leaving. So,
yeah,
the wineries are going to get moved.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting though. I think I don't know the exact number on it, but like the past 4 years, I think it's like close to $1 billion that just the alcohol industry as a whole has taken a hit on because like this new generation, they don't drink. They like their smoke and they just kind of do their own thing. So yeah, wine's kind of going away, but like you got like all these seltzers and stuff that are coming up. It's just a change of times, but I don't know.
It's like bell bottoms. It'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll grow up. They'll grow up.
That's right. They'll want to have a cigar and a glass of wine, or a scotch. It'll come back.
Yeah, that's honestly what I'm leaning towards. But daggone, wouldn't you know it? Kentucky is like one of the toughest states to even truck through. Man, it is like to get your alcohol license there. I mean, Tennessee alone. They might have changed it, but like I think back in the day, you had to have a license for every single county. And then Kentucky's a whole different beast. I mean, you're still in the Bible Belt at that point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't just send a truck in there, man. You have to have the license. You have to be certified state by state. So, like, if I have something like we have New Jersey, but if something's coming out of New York, I have to get a partner to help me out.
Could you imagine if you had to have like an overweight permit for every county versus just getting a statewide overweight permit? I mean, geez Louise.
Well, but think of that, though. I mean, even state by state, right? I mean, even when you're trying to move stuff state by state with an overweight permit, there's different rules in each state. So I'm pulling out something out of South Carolina, and I'm 92,000 pounds, my gross weight, and my overweight permit covers me. Well, I can't go through North Carolina with that because North Carolina limits you to 90,000 instead of, you can't go over 90,000. And I know there's like Alabama has certain ones. So, I mean,
it's all about getting that dollar.
Yeah. Right. So like, you got county, licenses and stuff like that. Oh man, everybody's got their hand out and they want to get their coins. They want their money. It's crazy.
Oh, and they're going to get it one way or the other. They're going to get it.
You guys ever deal with any overweight Dre?
Oh, that's all I do is overweight Dre. I mean, 90% of the recycling stuff we do is overweight. 100% of the granite stuff we do is overweight. I mean, those things are like
that's
55 to 60,000 pound, 20-foot containers. Those are some heavy suckers. But
yeah, I deal with overweight pretty much weekly.
Yeah.
I'm 46 to 48,000 pounds in a 20. So that's pretty normal around here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, depending on the commodities and stuff. I love doing the ones that we had for Asheville because those things were like 9,000 pound containers, man. Those things were freaking great. We didn't have to worry about overweight with those. I mean, if you're going to go through the mountains, let's go through some mountains with something light. But everything else we do it's like the truck almost takes a sigh of relief during the weeks when we're doing those compared to the overweight stuff we're doing. I mean, we don't have the mega overweight stuff where you're getting up into the 100,000 pounds or whatever, but we're typically over 80 pretty consistently, and we'll dabble a little bit in that, especially with the granite ones and stuff, into that 90,000. So
that's crazy. What the heck are they stuffing in a container with that only weighs 9,000 pounds?
They're parts for turbos. It's a turbo company that makes turbos for Chevy and Dodge and somebody else. But yeah, I don't know what turbo parts, but that's only like 9. Well, the 20s are 9,000 and the 40s are 18, but a lot of them are 20. So
that's about the weight on the antiques I bring in. They don't ever reach 20,000. I mean, they'll be 15, 16,000 in a 40 HC. So, which those I'm sure make my carrier very happy, because it's like they're pulling nothing coming up the road.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny how when you're looking at the the miles per gallon, like if you do one of those for like a whole week, and you're moving that stuff compared to you can tell. I mean, all of a sudden your average will jump up on your miles per gallon on the truck, because it's like,
yep, you went from 5.5 to 7 like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, right.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Did y'all catch this story about the USPS? USPS telling contractors no more immigrant CDL drivers. The United States Postal Service is finally going to do something.
Let me pull that up.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, and everybody wonders why we have a problem. I mean, if the Postal Service is doing this, why do you think transportation as a whole has a problem? U.S. Postal Service announced this week that it will begin phasing out non-domiciled commercial driver's license holders from its contractor network. And they say the safety of our employees, our customers, and the American public is our utmost concern. Really? Let's see here. USPS is taking a phased approach. The underlying reality remains the Postal Service moves 55,000 truckloads daily. 55,000 truckloads daily. 2 billion, that's with a B, a capital B, 2 billion miles per year. Let's see how we got here. I can't make this up. I just read what they wrote. I'm not starting rumors, and I'm no slander here.
This is right on their website.
This is right off of them. The Beam Brothers, based out of Mount Crawford, Virginia, one of the largest mail contractors in the country, operating across 17 states and serving nearly every major city east of the Mississippi. For over a decade, the USPS paid them more than $500 million. They were, by every measure, a critical logistics partner. From 1999 to 2017, company leadership created routes that were physically impossible to complete legally. Drivers were instructed to falsify their records of duty status and timesheets. According to federal prosecutors, drivers became so fatigued that they could barely stay awake behind the wheel. On multiple occasions, the Beam Brothers drivers nearly caused crashes when they momentarily fell asleep on public highways. One driver testified that he was given methamphetamine by colleagues to stay awake, and after 3 months of drug use, he could no longer physically operate the truck and had to call for medical rescue. I can't make this up. It's right there on their page. And everybody wonders why we have such a problem in transportation. FMCSA is the federal government. The USPS is the federal mail system. So if they're running around allowing illegal work to be done, what do you think's happening to the rest of the transportation industry? I mean, if you have to move 55,000 loads a day, things are going to fall through the crack, and we're going to turn a blind eye. And now we are where we are. So I just wanted to bring that up. We were talking about it earlier. How does the non-domiciled and things like that affect the port? You see what kind of hit it's going to make to the mail service. It's going to affect every mode of transportation, just across our industry.
Well, think about it. You don't see UPS on the side of the road with boxes all over the place. But which one do you see on the side of the road? I mean, when you look at accidents here lately, they seem to be a lot of Amazon trucks, right? Or Amazon trailers. So you wonder if there's something similar. Not saying that Amazon's pushing it, right? But some of these carriers that are going after some of this cheap freight, and they're trying to move more than they can, legally do to try to make that dollar, right? And it's and possibly some of these ethical CDL holders that are switching logbooks or switching numbers and on the trucks, right? So it's like you see it all over the place, right? U.S. Post Office has issues with it, obviously. Some of these other big carriers have issues with it, and we see it during times when all these rates are down, and people are trying to make every last penny they can possibly make and take advantage of it, so they're doing stuff illegally. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it all goes. I mean, the Chinese New Year shutting down and the effects that it has on carriers plays into the same thing that you see here, where UPS or USPS might have shortage, or the network that they use have shortages, so they're trying to push drivers to get as much stuff as they possibly can illegally. It's a crazy cycle.
This topic right here is one of the main reasons they pushed for ELDs back when we were using paper logs.
Mm-hmm.
We got to cut this hours of service out, where you can't manipulate the system, yada, yada, yada. So am I under the impression that by this case right here, these guys don't have to run under ELD because they're doing a needed process? I mean, is that me assuming? I mean, because I know when I was running trucks, I would have never got away with this. The first scale I crossed, then I would have been shut down.
Well, anybody that does anything legally, right, is going to do it legally. But just like people had, back in the day, and they probably still do today, they got multiple logbooks in their truck. I am sure that the bad guys have figured out a way around the ELD thing. They probably got multiple ELD devices in their trucks they hook up, whatever, right? There's ways around it. But the person, like you were just talking about, when you had trucks, when you're doing it right, yeah, you're thinking about pulling in the weigh station and having or somebody looking at your stuff, and when you're only running that one book or that one ELD, you're not going to get away with it, right? So you do stuff the correct way. But just like everything, the bad guys always find ways around the laws until they get caught.
Yep.
The investigation found that 39% of trucking companies hauling U.S. mail violated hours of service rules at rates that triggered DOT red flags, compared to 13% of for-hire trucking firms generally. Nearly 50 long-haul mail contractors had safety records so poor that the DOT had placed them on probation. This is the federal government. The federal government, they're spending $5 billion a year on transportation of mail. And who knows how long this went on. I mean, the part I read to you was from 99 to 2017. So there's no telling how long, it's gone on. It's mind-blowing.
I wonder why this is.
When you ship mail from overseas, does that come like via air freight, or is there actually like USPS or mail containers? Does mail come in containers, or does that come like air freight? Like, I mean, you can mail stuff. Like, I'm talking like mail, right? You send somebody a letter to, Iraq, your cousin in Iraq. I mean, is there mail truck? Is that air freight? Do we load containers with mail?
Well,
do we know how mail gets over there?
Well, the last time I put my Peterbilt on the water, it sank. So I don't do that anymore. No, I'm assuming it all goes via air freight. I mean, when I was in the Army, at one point I went and worked in the mailroom, and you like legitimately had to be tested in order to handle the mail, because it doesn't matter what it is. It's a federal crime. Even if it's Steve's junk mail. Steve got 2 magazines, one from Sportsman Outdoors and one from Drayage Junkies, and I threw those away without Steve's knowledge. That's a federal offense. So I'm not sure how that works. I would assume it's essentially under lock and key and goes via air freight.
Yeah, so I'm looking it up right now. So yeah, airmail or shipping it by airplane is the most common. They do ocean mail, so it's like bulk stuff, like, so I'd imagine if it's like, a bunch of pamphlets,
Could you imagine loading the container with mail? What do? Turn it on its end, and then you get on a ladder and you just pour it all in?
I don't know.
Like the recycling place. You ever seen them lift the truck up to dump all the stuff out of the trailer?
Yeah. I don't know, but so it's like, I guess it's like universal, like so little packages and stuff. And if you're not like, worried about the time of it, then you can just stuff it. But
now, here's another quick little tidbit at the bottom there, Steve. Capacity right there where you are. FMCSA estimates that approximately 200,000 non-domiciled CDLs have been issued since the program expanded in 2019. The agency anticipates these drivers will exit the market within approximately 2 years as credentials come up for renewal. 200,000. So if you want to talk about tightening up capacity, if you were to flip a switch tomorrow and lose 200,000 trucks, I would say things might tighten up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when you think about, and that's kind of the point of today's show, right? Is in conversation is what's this going to look like at the beginning? As Q1 winds down, Q2 picks up. We have more and more. We got Tennessee tightening up, North Carolina tightening up. Hopefully California can get their head out of their ass and do something legit. But the more and more of these drivers, like how many? Because there was, there's a lot of old school drivers or people that have retired, out of the system, and who did it get replaced with? Right, these illegal, fake. We'll just call them, fake CDL holders. So if they continue to tighten that up, right, what's that going to do? As and we're talking about it from a drayage standpoint. I mean, it's everything that goes up and down the road of these trucks. I mean, how many of these guys are you passing every single day that shouldn't be carrying that license, right? So what's that going to do, right? Is it going to take rates up? Is it going to cause what it did in when COVID, right? When it was all of a sudden everything started coming in. Like what's it going to look like when the volume starts coming back, right? Because everybody talks about it, right? I mean, Q2 is always going to be the saving grace for the year when the volume comes back, right?
I'm just curious to the fact of, you see the news stories coming out of, FMCSA cracks down on California, cracks down on North Carolina, cracks down on Tennessee. When are the stories going to come out about FMCSA puts, not for name dropping or slander or anything else, puts Night Refrigerated under probation or investigation, or JB Hunt or whomever, name X large carrier who has 2,000 drivers? When are those stories going to come out like, hey, we're checking your books and you haven't been verifying your driver. So guess what? That's the next shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they've talked about that before. Like it is these mega carriers that are just like under the radar. I mean, like they're out of service and, just all these infractions that they've been making, like nobody talks about it just because they are so massive,
Right. They're so massive that they're self-insured on top of that. So it's not like you're even getting legitimate information from their insurance company, because they're writing their own policy, because they know if we have this accident, we can cut the check, sweep it under the rug, be done with it. I'm just wondering when that shoe drops. I mean, I
don't know if it does, man. Because I mean, like, think about Amazon. Like, nobody's going to bring down Amazon because everybody relies on Amazon. Same with JB Hunt. I mean, like, they have all these trucks and like multimodal services, but also they provide a lot of freight to carriers. you know, so you
Yeah.
cut that out. I mean, like shit, I couldn't imagine if JB Hunt popped up tomorrow and said, yep, we're done. You know, I mean, we talk about, you know, like Yellow, everybody's freaking out about Yellow, you know, the LTL provider. And that was a shit show in itself, dude. I still see Yellow trailers just sitting in lots. And I'm like, I wonder if they even know that's there. You know, like
they have so much stuff, they probably don't.
Yeah. And then, I mean, like shit, what is it? Carol Fuller that just went out of business recently. I don't know if y'all remember when we were pulling out Atlanta Motor Speedway, dude, there was like 80 of their fucking trailers sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a hub, and that was where their stuff was getting turned in at.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think they'll like it would ever put them out, but I mean, shit, if the government can't get their own shit together, like, what are they going to do? These mega carriers?
No, I don't think it puts them out. But what if you we're just gonna name drop. What if you go into Swift tomorrow, and instantly half of their driving fleet is out of service? Yeah. It's not what the government does to Swift. It's what do the customers who use Swift do to Swift? Because the customer's not going to wait for you to get your ducks in a row and keep getting pushed to the back of the line. They want their freight moved. So it has to go somewhere, you know, which is good for, you know, us little fish, but.
I don't know. Time will tell, though, because I mean that's got to come out eventually. I mean, with all this shit that's popping up, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that later this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now you're cracking down on places issuing CDL. So when are you going to crack down on the places who are not actually looking at the CDL? That's what's coming.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to this hour mark. Steve, how are we able to do this show today, brother?
Well, just like all shows, right? Needs financial funding, and every show, every truck.
We'll take NIL deals. We take NIL deals.
Yes. We will be the first NIL podcast.
So y'all just hit us up. Hit up Freyhounds. Hit up Dirty Dre. Hit up me. We'll take NIL deals. We will entertain all offers. Steve will show his feet.
Well, today's show, like all the other shows, are brought to us by our dear friend Clint Weston and his team at Shoreline Capital.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If you haven't, we got a promo code down at the bottom of the screen here, ShorelineCapital.com. You can use code SureThing365 to get your first invoice up to $2,000 free. Clint and his team, man, they do an amazing job. You've heard me talk about them for probably going on a year now, right? I mean, you got an issue, you can hit them up, get it resolved really, really quick, and I can't say enough about them. They do an amazing job, and they treat you like family. It's a small town company that really just treats you like you're one of them. So check them out, ShorelineCapital.com.
That's right. Tell them the junkie sent you and use that code SureThing365 for your first invoice up to $2,000 all free. But gentlemen, great show today. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and as always, really interested to see how what we talked about shakes out in the near future. So, but before we cut out, Jimmy, you got any exiting comments there, brother?
No, sir. No, before you go, baby, use AccuBid Pro. That's all I can say. Figure out your cost per mile. Don't go broke. Don't put yourself out of business. If you're new to the business, start off on the right foot. Use AccuBid Pro for all your drayage logistic needs. I'm just saying, reach out to the Truck It guy, Red Rocket Logistics. I got you, baby.
Is that a new tagline? Know before you go? Know before you go. You got it. I like that. I like that.
Hashtag morals over money, baby.
Dropping bombs. Steve, what you got, brother?
Oh, man. It's only Tuesday. It's been a long day.
It's a great week.
It's a great week.
Man, baseball started back up for Asher, so he's got a double going on. He's got conditioning going on for the school. Then his practice. He was on the field yesterday from about 4 o'clock to 8:30. So and going back at it to do it again today. So I'm tired. Feel a lot of it today, but yeah, feel free to go check out truckingnewshub.com for all of your trucking news. There's a lot of exciting things and additions going on there. We've added the freight fraud task force page to talk about freight fraud and bring all the news about freight fraud that's going on in the industry. So you can check that out as well. A lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff in there to check out, and more to come. We've done a refresh this year of the logo. We'll be at Matt's, and Jimmy and I will be handing out stickers on the corner of that show. So,
that is where Steve will show his feet.
Yep, exactly. So that's really all I got, man. Baseball and trucking news. That seems to be my life right now. But what about you, Fred?
Not a bad life.
Man, been a great show. Been a great week. Always a pleasure to hang out with you fellers. Everybody watching, if you're just not tuning in, be sure to go back, check it out. Be sure to reach out to us if you want to hop on the show, if you want to see Steve's feet, if you want me to shave my head so I can be the third bald guy in this conversation.
I like that one.
But that's gonna require a huge NIL deal. So, we'll figure out the numbers on the back end. But yeah, ready for a show next week. It's the 30th show, man. I mean, come on, let's keep it going. So
we need to get our friends with the Coast Guard back on, man. I bet you there was.
I was about to say, dude,
stuff going on with when you think about all the stuff going on with these tanker vessels, all that stuff, man. We need to get our boys back on, man. We need Coast Guard story time again.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Dan because I know. I mean, shit. Yeah, because he's still got a bunch of buddies there. I mean, remember when that one vessel caught on fire? He was like,
yep.
One of my friends was the one that it was like the first responder on it. So, and then that vessel that they just seized, Coast Guard ship right up next to it. So maybe he will know what they do with the people in the vessels and all this oil.
Maybe.
So
I doubt he can tell us.
I don't know, man. He tells us a lot of stuff he's probably not supposed
to. Yeah. Maybe that's why we haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, where's he?
Probably he's in jail.
Yeah. But well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in again. Be sure to tune in next week, Tuesday, 12 o'clock Central Time, for another rip-roaring episode of the Drayage Junkies. Be sure to go like, follow, share, comment, tell your friends about it. But until next time, stay junky, keep crushing them cans. We will see y'all next time.